My boss degrades me at work, so I get 11 employees to quit at the same time. Here's what happened. Subscribe to YouTube channel and hit the bell for notifications. Back at the beginning of 21, I worked at a small community health nonprofit with an insane CEO. She would constantly call team meetings to put down and belittle employees in front of the entire staff. Often she would throw around some variation of, "Do I have to do everything around here?" and call everyone on staff incompetent. When we did do something right, she never gave us credit and always took the credit for herself. She threatened firing everyone constantly and would randomly call us to gossip and make petty remarks about each other, pitting staff against one another. One day, the CEO called a team meeting. In a group text chat between some of the more chill employees, we immediately began sending snake and eye roll emojis. Sure enough, we get on the call, and she begins by bringing our attention to how Louise does not dress appropriately for work. Louise, who is also upper management, the COO, looks about ready to smack the CEO. The CEO viciously tears into Louise, commenting on everything from her hairstyle to her lipstick shade, to how it's inappropriate for Louise to wear off the shoulder blouses that show her collarbone. She then tells everyone that we had all better start dressing more formally, or there would be consequences. The next day, the CEO calls another meeting. We all join, and Louise turns on her camera. I immediately had to turn off mine because I didn't want to get caught laughing my butt off. Louise was dressed from head to toe in what looked like something someone would wear to prom. Her hair was immaculately styled into an elaborate updo. Her makeup was professionally done with lash extensions and everything. She was dripping with what I assume were fake diamonds, tiara, earrings, necklace, bracelets, and rings. And she wore the most ridiculous navy blue satin formal gown with a faux fur shoulder shrug to cover her collarbone. My best guess is that it was an old bridesmaid dress, but she never did say where she got it. The CEO was immediately fuming. "Why are you dressed like that? You told us to dress more formally. This is formal wear. Is something wrong? That's not professional for work." "Oh, I'm sorry. I must have been confused. You said we needed to dress formally, but I think what you meant to say was professionally." The CEO was livid, but Louise continued to rock the prom outfit all day, meeting with patients and clients and everything. Later that week, Tina texted our group chat and says that the CEO was requiring her to submit a detailed timesheet with what she was doing and working on down to the minute for her entire day. She was going to BCC us on the email. Sure enough, it pops up in our inbox a few minutes later. Tina had literally detailed her entire past 24-hour day, down to the minute. 6:45 a.m., awoken by husband's flatulence. 7 a.m., peed and changed menstrual pad. 7:02, began bowel movement. 7:10, completed bowel movement. 7:12, turned on the shower. 7:13, tested water temperature with hand. You get the idea. Apparently, the CEO called her on her cell phone and berated her for sending such a detailed timesheet. Tina reminded her that she had requested her entire day down to the minute and didn't specify she meant her work day only. Finally, my turn. My job was in IT, and most of my work was as a database administrator, but I often helped with other tech problems. One morning, the CEO called me repeatedly at 2 a.m. My phone settings have it so that if I miss 5 calls in a row from the same person, the Do Not Disturb mode is turned off and the phone rings. I see who it is, silence my phone, and refuse to answer. At 6 a.m., she calls again. Again, I refuse to answer. 7 a.m., refuse to answer. 8 a.m., refuse to answer. Finally, at 9 a.m., I call her back. She asks to hop on a video call. "I've been trying to get a hold of you all morning. Where have you been? Can I help you with something?" I didn't even bother trying to hide my irritation. I literally rubbed my temples and slurped my coffee loudly. "You didn't answer my question, and I'm not going to. I was off the clock at the time you called. You're salaried, right? That means it. It doesn't matter if you work 100 hours or 1 hour. You get paid the same. So I expect you to be available when I need you. What do you need?" I need you to reset all the company usernames and passwords. We're letting someone go today, and it's company policy to change all that. At the same time, Louise texts me that she's being let go. So I read the company handbook and make a copy of the page that says the IT person must update the usernames and passwords and give the information to the COO. I changed all the usernames and passwords to everything, from social media accounts to bank accounts to QuickBooks and emails. I send the usernames and passwords in an encrypted email to Louise, and then send the CEO my 2-week notice. 2 weeks go by. It's the last hour of my last day. So what do? Change all those usernames and passwords again and send them to Louise, who was also celebrating her last day. I log out of my email, put my company phone and laptop in the mail, and spend the evening cackling at my malicious compliance. The very next day, on Saturday, the CEO calls me repeatedly. Finally, she leaves me a long and howling voicemail to say what I did was unprofessional, and she'd make sure my reputation suffered and that I would never work in the industry again. I wait until Monday to call back. Hey, CEO, I saw you called. I need the usernames and passwords to everything. I'm sorry, but I don't work there anymore. You'll have to contact your IT person to help with... You are the IT person. No, I was the IT person. Now I'm a private consultant, and I'd be happy to provide my services at a rate of $100 an hour. You changed all the usernames and passwords and didn't provide them to me. Correct. Her company policy, when an employee leaves the organization, the IT person is supposed to update everything and send the new info to the COO. I was leaving, so I updated everything. I provided all the usernames and passwords to Louise. You knew she was... Why would you give them to her? Because the company policy says to transfer the username and passwords to the COO, not the CEO. Louise was the COO when I left. Caught in her bureaucracy, she then had to spend weeks trying to gain access to all the company accounts. On Louise's and my last day, Tina and another employee quit. Another person announced her retirement. Once the 5 of us were gone, we were followed by several other employees. In total, 11 people on the 14-person staff quit within a few weeks. The best part, I got a new job making the same amount I did at that crappy nonprofit, but part-time in a government position with full-time benefits. So much for my reputation suffering. I stayed in touch with one of the employees who stayed behind. She's only 3 years away from retirement and is basically Stan from the office. She said they've hired at least 12 people. All of them quit as soon as they could find another job. I mean, technically speaking, our original did everything they were supposed to do. It's not their fault that it happened to screw over the CEO, who also happened to be a jerk. These things just line up sometimes. But I hope that her losing, 80% of her staff is a wake-up call for her. Maybe she needs to start treating people better, else you're not going to be able to keep anyone around. At the end of the day, if you want your business to be successful, you need employees. Otherwise, they'll leave you all alone, and then you'll see what it's really like to have to do everything yourself.
If you like this video, subscribe the channel for more.